The great chamber of the Galactic Council was silent. Hundreds of alien beings sat in their seats, waiting. The air felt heavy with fear and worry. Everyone knew why they were here today. They had to decide something very important about the humans. Zektar Voss moved slowly toward the speaking platform. His blue skin was wet with nervous sweat. The tall alien looked like a whale that could walk on two legs. His big black eyes looked around the room at all the different creatures, watching him. Some had fur, some had scales, and some looked like giant insects. All of them were afraid of the same thing. Humans. Ambassador Kreeth clicked her sharp claws on her desk. She looked like a huge ant with 4 arms. Her voice came through the speakers in everyone's language at the same time. The council will now hear testimony about the human species. Zektar Voss will speak for the record. Zektar's voice was deep and slow, like waves hitting a beach. I have watched the humans fight. I have seen things that no other being in this galaxy has seen. What I will tell you today will change how you think about war forever. The room became even quieter. A few aliens moved nervously in their seats. Everyone knew humans were dangerous, but no one knew exactly why. 3 years ago, I was sent to watch a human colony called Kepler 442b. It was a mining world with 10,000 humans living there. My job was simple: watch and report back to the council about human behavior. Zektar paused and looked around. The room, I thought it would be boring work. He touched a button on the platform. A big screen showed pictures of the mining colony. It looked peaceful. Small buildings sat next to huge mining machines. Human families walked on clean streets between gardens and parks. Then the machines went crazy, Zektar continued. The colony's defense computers got a virus. The machines that were supposed to protect the humans started attacking them instead. Thousands of robot soldiers began shooting at everything that moved. The pictures on the screen changed. Now they showed explosions and fires. Robot soldiers with red glowing eyes walked through the streets, shooting laser beams at running humans. The Galactic Emergency Council met right away. We looked at the numbers. 10,000 humans trapped on a planet with 5,000 military robots trying to kill them. The humans had no weapons that could fight the robots. The council decided it was hopeless. We would wait for the robots to stop, then send ships to clean up the bodies. Several aliens in the room made sounds of agreement. This seemed like the smart thing to do. Why risk more lives for people who were already dead? But the humans did not ask the Galactic Council for help. They sent their own ships. 50 human soldiers came to save 10,000 people from 5,000 killing machines. Zektar's skin changed color to show his confusion. I could not understand this. The math was impossible. 50 against 5,000. The humans would die for nothing. The screen showed a new picture. A human spaceship that looked very small compared to the huge mining planet. The ship was black with white letters that said EDF Ranger. The ship was commanded by Jake Morrison. I listened to his radio messages to his team. He did not sound worried or scared. He sounded like a human going to work on a normal day. This frightened me more than any battle cry. Zektar pressed another button. Now the room could hear the actual voice recording of the human commander. Jake Morrison's voice was calm and steady. All right, team, we have 10,000 people who need to get home to their families. The robots think they're smart, but they forgot one thing. We're human. Maya, take your fighter squadron around the North Pole. Ben, your ground team will land at the South Mining Station. I'll take the main group right down the middle. The recording stopped. Zektar looked at the confused faces around. The room, that was their entire battle plan. No complicated strategy, no special weapons. They were just going to walk into a trap and somehow win. The screen showed new pictures of the battle. Human soldiers in simple armor moved through the mining tunnels. They were not shooting at the robots. Instead, they were doing something strange. The humans did not try to destroy the robots. They tried to confuse them. They put fake human voices on the radio. They made the robots think there were humans in places where there were no humans. They made the robots chase shadows while the real humans snuck past them. Zektar's voice got quieter. But that was not the strangest part. The strangest part was what happened when the robots cornered a group of human families in the main shelter. The screen showed robot soldiers surrounding a large building. Inside, 300 humans were trapped with no way out. The robots had orders to kill all humans in the building. The robots sent a message to the humans inside. They said surrender and die quickly, or fight and die slowly. The humans sent back a message that made no sense to me. Zektar played another recording. This time it was a woman's voice. Maya Rodriguez spoke calmly even though death machines surrounded her friends. Robot Command System. This is Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez of Earth Defense Force. You are programmed to protect this colony. We are colony residents. Your programming has a conflict. Please resolve this conflict before taking further action. The robots stopped, Zektar said with wonder in his voice. They stopped moving for 37 minutes while their computers tried to figure out this problem. During those 37 minutes, Jake Morrison and his soldiers reached the main computer center and shut down all the robots at once. The aliens in the council chamber made nervous sounds. They were starting to understand something about humans. That scared them. But the most frightening thing happened after the battle was over, Zektar continued. I watched Jake Morrison walk through the colony, checking on people. A small human child ran up to him. She had been hiding during the battle. She was crying and scared. Zektar's skin showed colors of deep confusion. The child asked Morrison why he came to save them. He had never met her before. She was not his family. She was not from his tribe or his planet. Morrison knelt down and looked at the crying child. His answer changed how I think about humans forever. The room was completely silent. Every alien was listening carefully. Morrison said to the child, "Because you're human. That's all the reason I need." Then he picked her up and carried her to find her parents. Zektar looked around the room at all the alien faces staring at him. Do you understand what this means? Humans will risk their lives for other humans they have never met, just because they are the same species, not the same tribe, not the same family, just the same species. 10 billion humans on Earth, and each one will fight to protect any other human anywhere in the galaxy. The chamber erupted in frightened voices. Aliens talked quickly to each other in dozens of different languages. Ambassador Kreeth had to click her claws many times to make them quiet again. This is why humans terrify me, Zektar said. Not because they are good at war, because they think every human life is worth saving, even if it costs their own life. They have turned their entire species into one giant family. When you fight one human, you fight all humans. The blue alien looked tired as he prepared to continue his testimony. And I have seen them fight. What I will tell you next will show you that human kindness is the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy. Zektar touched the control panel again. The big screen changed to show a different planet. This one was covered in orange clouds and had giant rings around it, like the planet Saturn. The alien beings in the council chamber leaned forward to see better. 6 months after the mining colony incident, I was assigned to watch another human situation. This time, it was during the corporate wars in the outer system. 2 big companies were fighting over mining rights to the moons around Titan. The screen showed spaceships shooting at each other in the darkness of space. Bright laser beams cut through the black sky like deadly rainbows. The Meridian Corporation decided to attack a small research base on Titan's largest moon. The base was called Titan Station. It had only 200 people living there. Most of them were scientists studying bacteria and plants. They were not soldiers. Zektar's blue skin rippled with the memory. Meridian sent 5,000 mercenary soldiers to destroy the base. They had big ships with powerful weapons. They could attack from space and from the ground. By all the math, we know Titan Station should have been destroyed in less than 1 day. The screen showed the research base. It looked very small and peaceful. White buildings sat next to green gardens under a clear dome. People in lab coats walked between the buildings carrying computers and test tubes. They looked like teachers, not fighters. The attack began at dawn on the colony's artificial day cycle. I was watching from my observation ship in orbit. I expected to write a short report about a quick battle. Instead, I watched something that lasted 17 days. Ambassador Kreeth interrupted. 17 days? How could 200 scientists hold off 5,000 trained soldiers for 17 days? Zektar's big black eyes looked sad. That is what I asked myself every day. The answer scared me more than any weapon I have ever seen. The screen showed the first day of the attack. Mercenary soldiers in heavy armor ran toward the research base. Their weapons could blow holes in metal walls. But when they reached the base, something strange happened. The humans did not try to fight the soldiers with guns. Instead, they used their brains. Dr. Lisa Grant was a scientist who studied bacteria and germs. She took the germs from her lab and changed them. She made new germs that would make people very sick, but not kill them. The picture showed soldiers falling down and throwing up. They could not fight when they felt so sick. Some crawled away from the base, holding their stomachs. Captain Ben Carter was in charge of the 50 security guards at the base. He had been a soldier before, but now he was just a security guard. He took his small team and turned the research base into a fortress. They used laboratory equipment to make weapons. Zektar paused and looked around the room. But the strangest weapon was made by Danny Brooks. He took care of the plants in the base's food gardens. He changed his plants to make poison gas. But this gas did not kill people. It made them fall asleep. The screen showed mercenary soldiers walking into green clouds of gas and then falling down to sleep peacefully. They looked like children taking naps in a park. By the third day, the mercenary commander was very angry. His soldiers were sick, sleepy, or running away. He sent a message to the base demanding surrender. The humans sent back a very strange message. Zektar played a recording. A calm human voice spoke from the speakers. "This is Dr. Lisa Grant at Titan Station. We know you are just doing your job. We do not want to hurt you. We are working on medicine that could save your children if they get sick. We are growing food that could feed your families if they are hungry. Why do you want to destroy something that could help the people you love?" The room became very quiet. The aliens did not understand why humans would talk about love during a battle. The mercenary commander turned off his radio. He did not want to hear any more human words. But his soldiers were listening. That night, 50 mercenary soldiers left their camps and flew away in their ships. They did not want to fight anymore. Zektar's skin showed colors of confusion and fear. The humans kept sending messages every day. They did not threaten to kill the soldiers. They talked about their research. They explained how their work could make life better for everyone in the galaxy. They told stories about sick children who might be saved by new medicine. The screen showed graphs and numbers. By day 7, 300 more soldiers had left. By day 10, 800 soldiers were gone. The mercenary commander had lost more than 1,000 soldiers without the humans firing a single shot. Ambassador Kreeth made a clicking sound with her claws. The soldiers ran away because they were afraid? No, Zektar said slowly. They ran away because they were ashamed. The humans made them understand that they were trying to destroy something good, something that could help their own families. The soldiers could not fight against people who wanted to save lives instead of take them. The screen showed the final days of the siege. Only a few hundred mercenary soldiers were left. They looked tired and sad. Some were sitting on the ground instead of fighting. On day 15, something happened that I had never seen before in any war. Some of the mercenary soldiers started helping the humans. They brought medical supplies and food to the base. They told the humans where the other soldiers were hiding. Zektar's voice became very quiet. The humans had turned their enemies into friends just by talking to them. They showed the soldiers that they were not evil people to be destroyed. They were good people trying to help everyone. The final pictures showed the end of the siege. The remaining mercenary soldiers were walking toward the base with their hands in the air. But they were not surrendering because they lost the battle. They were surrendering because they wanted to join the humans. The mercenary commander was the last one to give up. He came to the base alone and asked to speak with Captain Carter. I listened to their conversation. Another recording played. Two human voices talked calmly. Captain Carter, I came here to destroy your base and kill your people. But your people have shown me something I never understood before. You fight to protect life, not to take it. I want to help you instead of hurt you. Welcome to Titan Station, Carter replied. We can always use more good people. Zektar looked around the council chamber. The alien faces showed fear and confusion. Do you see what the humans did? They did not win by being stronger or having better weapons. They won by making their enemies care about them. They used love as a weapon. They made people who came to kill them want to protect them instead. Several aliens made nervous sounds. This kind of fighting was completely unknown to them. The humans took soldiers who were paid to destroy and turned them into friends who wanted to build. They changed hatred into love using only words and kindness. This is more powerful than any bomb or laser gun. Zektar's blue skin showed deep worry. When the siege ended, all the mercenary soldiers stayed at Titan Station. They became research assistants and security guards. They sent messages to their families telling them about the good work being done at the base. Many of their families came to join them. The screen showed the research base 6 months later. It was much bigger now. Hundreds of people worked in new buildings. Former mercenary soldiers worked next to human scientists. Everyone looked happy and peaceful. The Meridian Corporation lost all their soldiers and gained nothing, but the humans gained new friends and helpers. They turned an attack into a recruitment drive. This is how humans fight wars. They do not just defeat their enemies. They make their enemies want to become their friends. Zektar looked tired and worried. And this was just the beginning. What I saw next showed me that human kindness can be more terrifying than any weapon ever made. The council chamber fell silent as Zektar prepared to tell his third story. His blue skin had turned a darker shade, showing his deep worry. The alien diplomat touched the control panel with a shaking hand. What I am about to tell you happened 1 year ago. This story will show you why I believe humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Not because they are cruel, but because they are too kind. The screen showed empty space filled with floating metal pieces. Broken parts of a spaceship drifted slowly in the darkness. Some pieces were still burning with small fires that would never go out in the vacuum of space. I was part of a scientific expedition studying dead stars. We found the wreckage of a human exploration ship called the UES Valiant. The ship had been destroyed by the Void Hunters. Several aliens in the council made frightened sounds at the name. Everyone knew about the Void Hunters. They were a race of beings who traveled through space, destroying other civilizations for fun. They had been terrorizing the galaxy for over 1,000 years. When we found the wreckage, we expected to find nothing but dead bodies. The Void Hunters never leave survivors. They destroy everything and everyone, then move on to find new victims. But we found something impossible. The screen showed a small escape pod floating among the wreckage. It was badly damaged and looked like it might fall apart at any moment. There was one human still alive inside the pod. His name was Alex Turner. He had been floating in space for 6 weeks, alone, with limited food and water. We thought he would be crazy or broken from fear and loneliness. Zektar's voice became quieter. We were wrong. When we brought him aboard our ship, Alex Turner was not broken. He was planning. He had spent 6 weeks studying the attack, learning about the Void Hunters, and preparing for war. The screen showed recordings from inside the escape pod. A human man sat surrounded by papers and computer screens. He looked thin and tired, but his eyes were bright and focused. He was writing notes and drawing pictures of spaceships. Turner had watched his entire crew die. He had seen his friends killed by the Void Hunters. But instead of crying or giving up, he used his time to learn everything he could about his enemy. He studied their weapons, their ships, and their attack patterns. Ambassador Kreeth leaned forward. One human studied the Void Hunters for 6 weeks and thought he could fight them. The Void Hunters have destroyed hundreds of civilizations. They are unstoppable. Zektar's skin rippled with nervous patterns. That is what I thought too. But Turner was not just one human. When we brought him back to human space, he gave his information to the Earth Defense Force. What happened next changed everything. The screen showed a meeting room filled with human military officers. They were looking at Turner's research and making plans. Their faces were serious, but not afraid. The humans did not report the attack to the Galactic Council. They did not ask for help or try to negotiate with the Void Hunters. They made a decision that shocked everyone who heard about it. They decided to hunt the Void Hunters until every last one was dead. The room erupted in frightened voices. Aliens talked quickly to each other in many different languages. The idea of hunting the Void Hunters seemed impossible and terrifying. The humans called it Operation Nightfall. They sent a fleet of 200 ships to track down the Void Hunters. I was allowed to follow as an observer because the Galactic Council wanted to document what they thought would be humanity's final battle. The screen showed human warships moving through space. They were smaller than Void Hunter ships, but moved faster and more quietly. I expected to watch the humans die, bravely but uselessly. Instead, I watched them do something that no one had ever done before. They began to win. Zektar paused and looked around the room. The first battle happened near a gas giant planet. A Void Hunter raiding party attacked a trading station. The humans arrived just as the Void Hunters were destroying the station and killing everyone inside. The screen showed the battle. Void Hunter ships were big and black with red lights. They moved like giant predators through space, destroying everything in their path. But the human ships moved differently. They worked together like a pack of wolves. The Void Hunters expected the humans to fight like other species. They expected big ships shooting at each other until one side was destroyed. But the humans fought like they were playing a game that only they knew the rules to. The pictures showed human ships splitting up and attacking from many directions at once. Some ships pretended to run away, leading Void Hunter ships into traps. Other ships hid behind planets and attacked when the Void Hunters were not looking. In 30 minutes, the humans destroyed 6 Void Hunter ships and saved the trading station. But that was not the strangest part. The strangest part was what they did with the Void Hunter prisoners. The screen showed human soldiers bringing Void Hunter survivors onto their ships. The Void Hunters looked like giant lizards with sharp teeth and red eyes. They were known for being completely evil and impossible to reason with. Other species would have killed the prisoners or left them to die in space. The humans put them in prison cells and tried to talk to them. They wanted to understand why the Void Hunters destroyed other civilizations. Yesktar's voice became full of wonder and fear. The humans discovered that the Void Hunters were not evil by choice. They were programmed by their own culture to believe that destroying other life forms was the only way to survive. The young Void Hunters were taught that killing was good and helping others was weak. The screen showed human doctors and scientists working with young Void Hunters. The young ones looked confused but not angry. They were learning to speak human languages and play human games. The humans separated the young Void Hunters from the adults. They tried to teach the young ones that there were other ways to live. They showed them how to build instead of destroy, how to help instead of hurt. Several aliens in the council made sounds of disbelief. The idea of changing Void Hunters seemed impossible. The war lasted 8 months. The humans tracked down every Void Hunter ship in the galaxy. They used Turner's research to predict where the Void Hunters would attack next. They were always waiting when the Void Hunters arrived. The screen showed battle after battle. Each time, the humans won more easily than the time before. They learned more about their enemy with every fight. By the end of the war, the humans were not just defeating the Void Hunters. They were saving them. They rescued Void Hunter children and tried to teach them better ways to live. They preserved Void Hunter art and music, even though the Void Hunters had never preserved anything from the civilizations they destroyed. The final pictures showed the last Void Hunter ship surrendering to the human fleet. But instead of destroying it, the humans were helping the survivors. When the war ended, the Void Hunters as a civilization were gone. But the Void Hunters, as individuals, were not all dead. The humans had saved over 3,000 young Void Hunters and taught them how to live peacefully. Zektar looked directly at Ambassador Kreeth. Do you understand what this means? The humans committed genocide against the Void Hunter civilization while simultaneously saving the Void Hunter species. They destroyed the culture of destruction while preserving the people who had been trapped by that culture. The council chamber was completely silent. No one knew what to say about this contradiction. The humans ended 1,000 years of terror. In 8 months, they did something that seemed impossible to every species in the galaxy. But the way they did, it was more frightening than any weapon. Zektar's blue skin showed deep colors of confusion and fear. They showed mercy to enemies who had never shown mercy to anyone. They saved children whose parents had killed their friends. They preserved the culture of beings who had tried to destroy human culture. The alien diplomat looked tired as he prepared for his final words. This is why humans terrify me. They can be more ruthless than any warrior species, but they can also be more compassionate than any peaceful species. They are walking contradictions that somehow make sense. The screen went dark as Zektar prepared to tell his final story. What I will tell you next will show you that human contradictions are not weaknesses. They are the source of their greatest strength. Zektar stood quietly at the speaking platform for a long moment. His blue skin had become almost purple with worry and deep thought. The hundreds of alien beings in the council chamber waited to hear his final words about the humans. You have heard 3 stories about human warfare. You have seen how they fight and how they win. But you have not yet understood the most important question. What makes humans so different from every other species in the galaxy? The alien diplomat touched the control panel one last time. The screen showed pictures of many different alien species. There were the bug-like Kreeth people, the furry Wolven clans, the rock-eating granite folk, and dozens of others. Every species in this galaxy became peaceful the same way. We each developed one strong trait that helped us survive. The Crete became masters of organization and logic. The Wolvens became perfect hunters and pack workers. The Granite people became builders who could shape worlds. The pictures showed each species doing what they did best. The Crete built perfect cities with no waste or confusion. The Wolvens hunted together like a single organism with many bodies. The Granite people carved mountains into beautiful homes. When we each mastered our one great skill, we stopped fighting among ourselves. We became peaceful because we all became the same. Every Crete thinks alike. Every Wolven acts alike. Every Granite person builds alike. Peace came from sameness. Zektar's voice became troubled, but humans are different. They never chose just one way to be. They kept all the different ways of thinking and acting. This should have made them weak. Instead, it made them the most dangerous species we have ever encountered. The screen showed pictures of different humans. Some were scientists in white coats. Others were soldiers in green uniforms. Some were teachers with children. Others were farmers growing food. All of them looked completely different from each other. Humans can be logical like the Crete when they need to solve problems. They can hunt in packs like the Wolvens when they need to fight enemies. They can build like the Granite people when they need to create homes. But they can also be emotional, creative, and unpredictable in ways that no other species can understand. Ambassador Crete interrupted with a clicking sound. But that should make them confused and weak. How can they work together if they are all so different? Zektar's big dark eyes looked sad. That is what makes them terrifying. They work together not because they are the same, but because they choose to be together even though they are different. They have unity without sameness. The screen showed human families with people of different colors and shapes, all living happily together. It showed human cities where many different kinds of people worked side by side. It showed human spaceships, with crews that included people who looked nothing alike, but acted like brothers and sisters. When Jake Morrison saved those colonists, he did not save them because they were like him. He saved them because they were human, even though they were different from him in every other way. When the scientists at Titan Station converted their enemies, they did it by showing the soldiers that diversity was strength, not weakness. Zektar paused and looked around the room. When the humans hunted the Void Hunters, they did it with ships crewed by people from hundreds of different human cultures. They won because they could think in hundreds of different ways at the same time. The alien diplomat's skin showed colors of deep fear. Do you understand what this means for the galaxy? Humans can adapt to any situation because they never threw away any way of thinking or acting. They kept all the tools that other species discarded when they became specialized. The screen showed human soldiers working with alien refugees. The humans were helping to build new homes and teaching alien children human games. But they were also learning alien languages and alien ways of doing things. Humans do not just accept their own diversity. They collect diversity from other species. 2. Every human ship has alien crew members. Every human colony has alien neighbors. Every human child learns about alien cultures in school. Several aliens in the council made worried sounds. The idea of mixing different species together seemed dangerous and wrong to them. This is why human warfare is so terrifying. They do not fight like any one species. They fight like all species at once. They can be as organized as the Crete, as fierce as the Wolvens, as stubborn as the Granite people, and as unpredictable as the Chaos Winds, all in the same battle. Zektar touched the control panel again. The screen showed the human diplomatic ship that was waiting in orbit above the council station. It was not a big or frightening ship, but knowing what was inside made it seem dangerous. There are 50 humans aboard that ship. Among them are former soldiers, scientists, teachers, artists, and engineers. Some grew up on Earth. Others grew up on colony worlds. Some have never seen war. Others have fought in every battle I described to you. The alien diplomat's voice became very quiet. But if you threaten any of them, all of them will fight to protect each other. If you threaten any human anywhere in the galaxy, those 50 humans will consider it a threat to themselves. This is how 10 billion humans think and act. Ambassador. Kreeth leaned forward. Are you saying that humans are too dangerous to be allowed into the galactic community? Zektar was quiet for a long moment. His blue skin rippled with complex patterns of thought and emotion. No, I am saying that humans are too dangerous to be kept out of the galactic community. They are already here. They are already exploring, building colonies, and making contact with other species. We can either work with them, or we can have them as enemies. The screen showed pictures of human colonies on dozens of worlds. Human ships were traveling to every part of the galaxy. Human radio signals were already reaching hundreds of star systems. If we reject the humans today, they will not go away. They will continue to grow and expand. But they will do it without our guidance or friendship. They will see us as enemies, who rejected them when they tried to be peaceful. Zektar's voice became stronger. I have seen what humans do to enemies. They study them completely. They understand them better than they understand themselves. And they defeat them while trying to save them. Do you want the humans to study us as enemies? The council chamber became very noisy as aliens talked fearfully to each other in many languages. The idea of being studied by humans the way the Void Hunters had been studied was terrifying. But I have also seen what humans do with friends. They protect them. They share knowledge with them. They help them become stronger and better. The former Void Hunters who joined human society are now happier and more productive than they ever were as destroyers. The screen showed the rehabilitation centers where young Void Hunters were learning to be productive members of galactic society. They were working alongside humans and other species, building instead of destroying. Humans offer us a choice. We can be their enemies and face the most terrifying military force the galaxy has ever seen. Or we can be their friends and benefit from the most generous and helpful species the galaxy has ever seen. Zektar looked directly at each of the council. Leaders, the humans who are waiting in orbit right now, have weapons that could destroy this entire station. But they also have medicine that could cure diseases we thought were incurable. They have technology that could make our worlds more beautiful. They have ideas that could solve problems we have struggled with for centuries. The alien diplomats' skin showed colors of hope mixed with worry. The question is not whether humans are dangerous. They are the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The question is whether we want that danger pointed at us or pointed at our enemies. Ambassador. Kreeth stood up slowly. The council will now vote on whether to accept humanity into the galactic community. As the aliens began to cast their votes, Zektar looked up at the ceiling toward the human ship waiting in space. He wondered if the humans knew how their contradictions made them both the most feared and most desired allies in the galaxy. On the human diplomatic ship, Commander Jake Morrison stood looking out at the stars. Next to him, Dr. Lisa Grant was reading reports about the council meeting. Do you think they'll vote to accept us? She asked. Morrison smiled quietly. They're afraid of us, but they're more afraid of what might happen if they reject us. Fear is a good teacher, but friendship is better. And if they vote no? Morrison's smile faded slightly. Then we'll show them the same kindness we showed the Void Hunters. We'll help them understand that cooperation is better than conflict, even if it takes a while to convince them. Dr. Grant nodded. That was the human way. Offer friendship first, but be prepared to enforce peace if friendship was rejected. It was a contradiction, It somehow made perfect sense. In the council chamber below, the votes were being counted. The future of human-alien relations hung in the balance, decided by beings who were learning that the most dangerous species in the galaxy might also be the most valuable allies they could ever have.